Hi, welcome back to another video from Burnout Help. Me, Eric Mahleb, Burnout Help, Stress and Burnout First Aid. Today I want to give you a method. Now, if you watch some of my previous videos, you are by now aware that I'm very interested in how can we learn to observe our thinking process, also our emotions, but I've probably spoken less about emotions than I have about thoughts and beliefs. And how can we learn to uh, observe them, be aware of them, and I spoke in my last video about diffusion, reduce their intensity. I've also mentioned in the past that in cognitive behavioral therapy, we look at thoughts and we sometimes try to reframe them into something positive. And today the method goes a little bit in this direction. It is called Thoughts on Trial. And I would post a little bit later a PDF with a template for this. This is a method, this is a tool actually, that comes directly from the world of cognitive behavioral therapy. And it's quite nice. It's pretty much you have to learn how to put your thoughts on trial. And you can either do it with a piece of paper if you want to be more rigorous about it, or you can do it on the go in your head. As you start to do it a few times, then it will become more automatic in your head. So the idea is simple. You take a negative thought. First, you have to, of course, develop the awareness, oh, I'm having this negative thought. Then you also have to have the willingness to engage with that thought, to question it. If you are willing to engage with it, then take that thought. For example, I'll never be able to do this because I'm not good enough. So what you want to do now is you want to create a defense. Remember, it's called thought on trial. So it's just like if you were on trial. So you want to create the defense for that thought. Why is that thought correct? The idea of writing it at first is quite useful because it forces you to really think, why is this thought correct? So what you want to do is you want to write and list reasons. Why is that thought correct? And then after you've done this for a few minutes, you want to go to the next part, which is the prosecution. Here you are the prosecutor. Is this thought correct? Or rather, asking the question, why is this thought not correct? In order to be an effective prosecutor, you have to find a way to remove bias and cognitive distortions, which is not easy. It takes trainings. If you're not aware of your own biases and cognitive distortions, it's going to be very difficult for you to do this exercise. Nonetheless, I would recommend that you try. You are the prosecutor. I'm going to do everything I can to prove that this thought is wrong. So you do that for a few minutes. You write and you list. And then when you've done this, you look at what the defense said, you look at what the prosecution said. And then you are now the judge. Again, a judge has to be impartial. So you have to really try hard to observe what's coming up. What are the biases coming up? What are the filters? What are my patterns coming up that are perhaps preventing me from looking at this objectively? And then as the judge, you issue your verdict. Was this thought correct or was this thought incorrect? As a last step, it's optional. You may choose to reframe this thought into a positive version. So you write, for example, we started with I'll never make it because I'm not good enough. You could write, well, I will be able to do this because I have this resource which I didn't see before, but if I do this, then I would be, whatever is the correct new version of that thought for you. It was your thought. It's just an example for me, but you have to use your own thought. And now try to reframe that into a different version of the thought based on the work that the prosecution did. And at the end, you are now in possession of a new version of your thought, but you're also aware of the fact that your first thought was not correct. It's a form of diffusion, which allows you to reduce the intensity of that initial thought. If you are able to replace it with a new thought, then wonderful, but that's a bit more difficult. Still, the idea of deconstructing that thought holds a lot of power. If you're very stressed and you're bombarded by negative thoughts, try to do this. Okay. Take care. See you soon. I hope this helped. Bye bye.